The amount of times I've heard people say, I can't do it because, and then almost sit back defiantly like, haha, coach, fix that. I think, I can't fix that. I can ask you some questions, but you have to decide that you want to fix it. You don't want to build capacity in the moment when you're already at the edge of your ability. You want to build it first. This is what I mean by you build capacity in other areas and then you bring it to the table. In this episode, I'm going to share with you 5 of the most transformational and eye-opening things I ever learned about changing your life and growing a business, in particular an online business, because the rules are different. Now buckle in because yes, I'm going to share things that are hopeful and inspiring, but I also have to pepper this with the reality of what it really takes to change who you are, change your life, and therefore change the results you're getting. Are you ready for this? I've already given you a clue. Let's go. Okay, number 1, the result is fair. If you can actually accept that the result that you're getting in your life is fair and that it reflects what you know, who you are, the behaviors that you demonstrate, the habits that you build, you regain control. People change their lives and get different results when they analyze what they're doing and they say, I don't know something isn't working, I must be falling short in one area or another. So I'm going to give you a very specific example to show you what I mean. I spent 4 years building a YouTube channel, and in those 4 years, I released a vlog nearly every single day. After about 1,000 vlogs, can you imagine? After about 1,000 vlogs, I finally hit 1,000 subscribers. And I sat back and I looked at that and I thought, that was a lot of work and it's not working. I mean, 1,000 videos, 1,000 subscribers, 1 subscriber per video. Half of me was like, it's not fair. This content's really good. I'm getting better at this. This should be working. I deserve more. And then one day I sat back and I thought, Lisa, if you're not getting the result, there's something you don't know or a habit you're not practicing or an energy level, a vibration or a belief that you are just not reaching. It's time to go back to the drawing board and do more research. I literally locked myself away and studied what makes a content creator, and in particular for that example, a YouTuber successful. Obviously the biggest shift was going from vlog style lifestyle content into how-to content. The other massive shift, if you're interested, was moving from 8 to 10 minute videos to 20 to 30 minute videos and putting them into a series. This mattered because the longer you could keep somebody on your platform, the more minutes you racked up, the more engagement you racked up, the more the algorithm looked at you and said, you must be interesting, you must be useful, let's send you more subscribers because you tend to keep them on a platform. So think about it, if somebody watches a third of a 9-minute video, you've kept them on the channel for 3 minutes. If, however, the video was 27 minutes long and you kept them for a third of that time, you kept them on the channel for 9 minutes, 9, 18, 27. Yes, you kept them on the channel for 9 minutes. That really counts when it comes to getting more views. The other thing off the back of that I mentioned was always to have another video to link to. So at the end of the video, being able to say, look, if you enjoyed this, I'm going to dive into this more in the next video. Make sure you give it a watch. And then if someone stayed for the whole 27 minutes and then another 15 minutes of the next video, you were really onto a winner. So when I looked at that, I said, Lisa, the result is fair. You got 1,000 subscribers. You've made 1,000 videos. Your effort's there. Tick. We'll give you that. You're putting in the time. Tick. But you don't have the skill that the other people have for holding attention. And your content isn't as relevant, isn't as searchable. When I did the research and analysed what it really took, I could instantly see where I was falling short. But then came the even more difficult bit. Then I had to increase my capacity to deliver what other people had already mastered. So to go from making a 10-minute vlog style video with music and B-roll, which is a skill that I was getting really, really good at, I was mastering, to go from that to being able to come up with content people are interested in, find the rich, deep insights and talk on them for 20, 25, 30 minutes, that was hard. It went from me filming a video throughout my day, just living my life and documenting it, to then having to sit down, research, think, plan, and then make these videos. And I'll be honest, these videos take me at least 4 cuts before I even get the content right, never mind what then gets chopped out in the edit. And we are brutal in what we cut out in the edit. So the first thing you've got to accept is if you're not getting the result that you want, that you think you deserve, if you can say to yourself, the result is fair, it has to be fair. There's nobody up there holding you down with a thumb on your forehead saying, you're not going to make it, I'm going to hold you back. It's not the way the universe works. The universe wants you to succeed. It wants you to grow. It wants you to expand. In some ways, in a very spiritual way, you could look at it and thinking, Why am I being held back? Why is this not working? What is it I need to learn? And I've always found, as hard as this is, where I didn't get the result, I needed that. Life is the feedback you need to evolve. I needed the poor result. I needed to fall short so that I eventually turned inwards and said, right, what am I missing? What do I need to learn? And when you start looking at that, you've got to look at 4 things. You've got to look, 1, what is the knowledge I need to acquire? You can have the knowledge, be able to explain it and even regurgitate it in a video and not be able to apply it. The second thing is you need to make the attempt. You've got to try, and that is painful as hell to try and fail, try and fail, try and fail. You keep going until you master the skill. That's the second thing. The third thing is then doing it consistently. Maybe I've got this skill now of producing content, of editing it, of getting it out. But here's the thing. If I produce 2 videos a month, how does that compare with the person who has the knowledge, has mastered the skill, and has the capacity to produce 8 a month? Can you see the difference? Yes, we're competing with ourselves, but it is human nature to grow, expand, evolve. So as much as you're growing and expanding and evolving, so is everybody else. And we are raising the standards for each other. If only we could chill and calm down and just make it easier. It's never going to happen. It's the nature of humans to move forward and evolve. It's literally written in our DNA, isn't it? And then the fourth thing, once you've mastered knowledge, skill, consistency, the fourth one is vibration. So if I sit down here and say, I don't want to make a video, I'm sick of making these videos, I hate making videos, hope that doesn't get picked up on the video SEO. If I sit there and say that and I'm like, right guys, I'm making another video for you today. You better like it because I've put loads of time in, and even if I wasn't that obvious and you could just tell, I didn't want to be here, my energy was flat, and I wasn't really vibrating on a frequency of, let's say, love, energy, joy, happiness, being of service, being useful, you can feel it. And if you don't like the energy that I'm giving out, or your energy vibration is much higher than mine, you're not going to stick around to what I've got to say. Therefore, in producing content or doing any endeavor towards any goal, you got to say right action, right mind, right action, right mind. The fourth thing is to master the knowledge, skill, consistency, and to apply the vibration of creation. That's it. The vibration of creation. Do you know what I'm saying? It's not just to do it to tick a box. It's to think, how can I do this with joy? How can I do this in a way that I'm intrinsically motivated to show up? How can I use my magic in this? That is the catalyst for explosive results. Here's the second hardest thing that I had to learn and accept in order to really change my life and grow my business. Content is the game. Content is the game, or put a better way, content is the job. I've spoken to so many people who say to me, Lisa, I'm not going to make content because it takes too long. I should be working. And I just sit there and I think, wow, you've revealed so much about what you believe in that sentence. Let's unpack it. Or I hear things like, Lisa, I want to make content, but I'm just so busy. I don't have the time. I need to find another way. Or I don't have the skill. And another one I hear quite a lot of is, I'm such a procrastinator. I mean to get to it and I never do. There's 2 things I notice in people who talk this way, and I saw these 2 things in myself. Number 1, they don't accept that content is the key to their online business growth. They just don't accept that. And the second thing is, they have the block, and after the block, they have a full stop instead of a comma. Let me explain these 2 ideas. So the first thing is, people feel guilty producing content because it takes time and it doesn't feel like a real job. I get that. Like, if I was to just step back and become conscious of this moment, I'm sat in an office in our house. I've turned the spare room to bedroom. Let's call it what it is. It's a bedroom that I've turned into an office in our home. I've then set up cameras, there's a mic and some lights, and really I'm talking out loud to myself. I know you're watching it and consuming it, thank goodness, otherwise, what would I be doing with my life? But that's the whole point, isn't it? In order to create content, you've got to sit down and literally talk out loud to yourself, develop ideas, put them together, learn how to convey them. It doesn't feel like work to most people, because what is work? Work is when you're getting paid. And I think this is the big thing. Work is, I was coaching, I was running a workshop, I shared something about an event and I made a ticket sale. Yes, that is work. But what else is work is building your profile. And I think people don't realize that in every bit of content that you create, in every bit of feedback you get from the market, that reel did well, that graphic tanked, that video was okay, that podcast didn't work. All of that is feedback and is making you better at your job. So not only are you building your profile and opening up and making the room bigger when you do come to make an offer and invite people in, but you are getting better. And I always remember one of the first times I stood on stage in front of a really big audience. There was about 500 people in the audience. I stood on stage and it was effortless. I'd memorized everything I wanted to say, but I was going off script. I was having a laugh with the audience. It was a really, really great session and it felt really natural and very, very off the cuff, unrehearsed, even though it was very rehearsed. When I stepped back from that moment, which felt like a really big transformative moment for me, and asked what led to that change, I knew for a fact it was because I'd made 1,000 vlogs. And with every single vlog, I got better and better and better at holding attention, commanding attention, even though it didn't lead to the subscriber growth from the people who watched the vlogs and were on my mailing list and found me one way or another. They loved them and I got that feedback. But when I look back and see the early vlogs versus the later vlogs, I can see the transformation. Same for these videos. So not only does content creation grow your profile and give you bigger opportunities in your online business, it also helps you to build the trait of being somebody worth following, somebody worth listening to. And because you always have to sit down and think, what am I going to say? How can I articulate this? How can I make it more concise? You're getting better at sharing your ideas in a way other people can find them, grasp them, and apply them. The second side of this, I said there were two parts. The second side of this is to turn the full stop into a comma. The amount of times I've heard people say, I can't do it because, and then almost sit back defiantly like, haha, coach, fix that. I think, I can't fix that. I can ask you some questions, but you have to decide that you want to fix it. And I think one of the biggest things that I do as a coach, and maybe even as a content creator, I hope, is that I just reflect back to people and help them realize just how powerful they are, that it sits with them. A coach, a book, a video, it can reflect things back to you. It can ask questions of you. It can challenge you. But at the end of the day, you could consume 100 videos and do nothing, or you could consume 10 videos and do everything. And it all starts with a change in intonation. So if I say to you, I can't make videos because I don't have time, that is very affirmative. It's self-affirming. If, however, I say, I can't make videos because I don't have time, all of a sudden we're just making a little bit of room to think, Lisa, is this valid? Is it fact? Then if I go a step further and say, I want to produce more content, it is my goal to produce more content, I'm open to finding a way, I'm exploring and looking, and I want to find another way. And then what if I went a step further again and I started Googling how to create more time, how to prioritize content creation, productivity hacks, scheduling hacks, how to produce content quickly, outsourcing, coaching on YouTube. Might I start getting there? So what I want you to do is identify why you can't do the thing that you really want to do, whatever it is linked to your goal, whatever you think the secret of success is. For me with this right now, for where I am, I honestly think it's making more content, better content, and building my profile. That could be yours. It could be something different. It could be making more offers. It could be changing your money beliefs. It could be working on your self-confidence. Whatever you think it is, articulate it and ask, what is the one big thing stopping you from doing more, and become a student of what's hard. Lean into the bit that you're struggling with, lean into the bit that you're avoiding, work on that and watch the result change. And by the way, if you've got a subconscious block and you're not sure what it is, I'm going to link below a video which is literally called How to Find the Subconscious Block That Is Hiding Right Under Your Nose. It's really well worth a watch. The third hardest thing I learned that I'm taking into 2024 and working on even more is that the short-term pleasure always costs you the longer-term satisfaction. The short-term pleasure always costs you the longer-term satisfaction. And 9 times out of 10, the thing you do to seek pleasure isn't even for growth, for enjoyment. It's a way of self-soothing, but it's not the most productive way to self-soothe if you've got a big goal or a big ambition. Let me explain. I think my job's pretty hard, and obviously I have to be careful because that could become an affirmation, but I'm trying to help a lot of people. I'm trying to build an online business. I'm trying to produce this content. I never sit still. I never think, aha, I've mastered the skill. Let's coast in this for 18 months and see what happens, because the market evolves, the market moves on. I master a skill And the growth part of me can't help but go, well done, celebrate, brilliant, what's next, let's go. And I'm constantly seeking growth. You can judge me if you want, but it suits me and I enjoy it. Because of that, I'm in a constant state of discomfort, meaning I very rarely feel like I'm at ease and I'm relaxing and I'm coasting. You might judge this, but for me to grow and to hit my goals, I'm so hungry for it and I'm so willing to work hard for it. I do have weekends off, I have evenings off, we have a great life, I've got balance, but when I'm working, I am working and I keep challenging myself to find the areas that I'm struggling with and lean into them. Now, if you're in a constant state of discomfort, like if you keep going to the gym and you're lifting the heavy weight and you're tearing that muscle and you're trying to grow, if you're in constant pain and discomfort, your brain doesn't go, phenomenal, we love this works, loving the pain, loving the stress it's putting on your body, do more. Doesn't do that. It goes, whoa, this really hurts. We should probably stop. Oh, don't you think you deserve a pack of rich tea with your cup of tea? Oh, you should probably put the weight down, go home, have a bath, get into bed, watch that series. We have this pleasure-seeking part of our brain. It wants life to feel a little bit better, a little bit easier, and ironically, a little bit more consistent. But the weird thing about this is the more pleasure you experience on a day-to-day basis, the extra glass of wine, the extra chocolate bar, the extra hour off, the more pleasure you enjoy short term, the more suffering you endure longer term. So you've heard that phrase, do difficult things today for an easier life tomorrow. If you do the easy things today, your life is going to be harder tomorrow. Now, I can already hear people listening to this and thinking, Lisa, but isn't life for living? Isn't life for enjoying? Yes, it absolutely is. All I'm going to say on that is, I've lived life where I've taken my foot off the gas and I've eaten the chocolate and I've eaten the sugar and I've watched Netflix and I've stayed up late. That life without discipline feels great for like 3 days, 7 days. But when the consequences of those actions start to show, I don't feel good. I feel better when I'm disciplined. I feel better when I'm working out. I feel better when I sleep. I feel better when I eat good. At what point do you make the switch and say, I'm going to discipline myself and do the hard thing today so I can have an easier life overall? So what I would say here is watch when you find something difficult and watch how you self-soothe. I find that word hard to say, self-soothe. When it's difficult, that is when you're going to want to reach for the thing that takes the pain away. What is that vice and when do you use it? If you look at those things objectively and consciously and say, what led to that moment? What difficult thing was I doing that led to that moment where I gave in to the pleasure or the thing that, just took the edge off, whatever that is? For me, it's sugar. I'm just not allowed sugar anymore. I don't eat sugar because I can't behave myself with it. And I'm not using it responsibly. I use it to take myself away from the pain instead of as a treat or a reward for good behavior. It sounds funny what I'm saying, but if you get it, you get it. So if you can say what triggered that behavior, you can think about what led to it and therefore the discomfort that you're trying to avoid. For me, it's always the discomfort of sitting with a difficult emotion, sitting with the feeling of I'm not good enough, sitting with the feeling of I'm not getting the result that I want, sitting with the feeling of I don't know enough. Those are difficult feelings for me to sit with. So I have a choice, sitting with those difficult emotions and just talking myself through them, or journaling, or if it's really hard and I want to reach for a biscuit because I can't get my words out and I can't do the video. It's a subconscious pattern. Instead I go, this is really hard. Go on a walk with the dog for 15, 20 minutes, listen to a podcast, come back and try again. Do you see how the person who does that is going to have a different life to the person who goes, I can't do it, eats the biscuits, watch Netflix? And I want to be really honest with you here. I'm not making a judgment. I lived in that cycle for years and years where I stopped just short of the moment of pain and I kept alleviating the pain with things that weren't good for me, staying up late and watching Netflix, eating chocolate, eating things that weren't good for me, skipping the gym because it was hard. And what I found is so many good things in life sit on the side of a difficult discipline. So just to summarize this for you, the things that you discipline yourself to do day to day will lead to an easier life. And when you notice that you're about to do something that doesn't match your goals, like you're trying to get in shape, but you notice you're reaching for a biscuit, think about what led to that moment. What was coming up? What thoughts were you having? What feelings were you having? And what was that reward or pleasure item going to help alleviate or help subdue? Because that it's trying to push down, that's the work. Here's the fourth thing I learned. Other habits build capacity. So you've heard me say in videos before that if you want a different life, you've got to build your capacity, increase your capacity to handle more stress, to produce more outputs, and to do difficult things, to stick at something when it's boring or it's difficult or it's mundane, to delay the gratification, right? Do the difficult thing today. Now, building that capacity doesn't always happen at your desk. By that, I mean, if you want to see it through with a video, for example, right now, when everything in me says, quit, you've already made so many mistakes, film it again, start again, it'd be so easy for me to quit. It's very difficult to build capacity right now in this moment because I'm already at the threshold of what I can handle. I'm already at the edge of my ability. I need to come to the table with greater capacity. You don't want to build capacity in the moment when you're already at the edge of your ability. You want to build it first. This is what I mean by you build capacity in other areas and then you bring it to the table. Last year, when I thought, Lisa, you need to increase your capacity, more output, more productivity, handle more stress, you need to be able to handle more stress, and you need to be able to push through difficult things. I thought, where could I increase that capacity? And do you know what the answer was for me? It'd be different for you, but the answer for me was at the gym. Two things I'll tell you on this. I looked at the gym and I thought, wow, I wish building a business was as easy as going to the gym. If I literally lift the weights, eat good food, and drink water, my body changes every single time I lift a weight. I feel like it's a very short period of time before I can see and feel the result. I thought, I wish that was the same in an online business, but it taught me that every single action compounds. And so at the gym, when it was hard and I wanted to come home and I wanted to quit, and I didn't want to go anymore, I just thought one more rep, one more push. You're going to see the result in the next 7 to 14 days, and you're going to build your capacity for doing difficult things. Plus, I do like the gym. I like how it feels. So that time for me was win-win. I got time out from my business. I got time out from life. I could listen to some good music, but I could also push myself and build capacity in an area that was a little bit more within my comfort zone. And I could bring that capacity back to things I found harder and things that took a little bit longer to translate into a result. The other huge benefit of going to the gym was, of course, everything that it did for my mind, for stress, for my energy levels. When I started going to the gym, guess what happened? I started getting more tired at night. So going to bed earlier meant it was easier to get up earlier, and because I knew I was going to the gym, I thought, well, I'm not going to have a bowl of shreddies before I go to the gym. That's no good. I'm going to have 3 scrambled eggs on some nice sourdough toast or something where I actually thought I might get some energy to be able to do a good workout. When I came back from the gym, I didn't think, I know what'll really finish off that workout. I'll have a pack of Bickies. I'm sorry for mentioning biscuits so many times in one video. I didn't think that. I thought, Lisa, excellent work. You need protein. And I would make a protein shake. And guess what? The protein kept me fuller for longer, and because I was eating less sugar, it leveled out the sugar spikes, the highs and the lows. And guys, win, frickin' win, frickin' win. You've heard of win-win. This is win, frickin' win, frickin' win. Going to the gym increased my capacity to do difficult things, but it also changed my body. It changed the chemicals in my brain. It changed the way I worked with sugar. It changed what I ate. It changed my sleep patterns. And all of that has translated directly into my business. So I'm not saying go to the gym. You can do this in so many ways. You can increase your capacity by meditating, by walking, by creating work-life balance, by reading. I want to say reading, not really, because it's not physical enough. It has to be something a little bit more engaging where you are activating parts of yourself. So meditating, walking in nature, yoga, anything that requires a bit of discipline and focus and a bit of physicality in your body and your mind, those kind of things are what increase capacity. So just ask yourself, what alleviates stress for you that is good for you? That's the key. What alleviates stress that is good for you? What makes you feel more powerful? What makes you feel more capable? If you can focus on building that habit, it will have so many positive ramifications for the difficult thing you're trying to do, like write the book or build the business. So what is that for you? Okay, the fifth and final one to end this episode is that if you want a different result, you have to change who you are. That's a really controversial statement because people don't like changing and they say we are perfect as we are. There's lots of messaging saying you are enough, you are perfect, you don't have to achieve to receive love. All of this is true, but here's the thing. there's two versions of us, and people don't explain this and don't account for it. There's the deep, spiritual, purpose-driven, connected version of ourselves that is perfect and pure and whole and enough. That version came to Earth, put on a human jumpsuit and said, let's go and see what this life is all about. I want to experience life. I want to grow. I want to evolve. Now, in the family that you were born into, you were taught what is appropriate and what is not appropriate. And you can do this on a few levels. What is appropriate in your culture? Is it appropriate to swear in your culture? Is it appropriate to disrespect people in your culture? Is it appropriate to earn money in your culture? Is it appropriate to live with somebody before being married in your culture? Your culture determined what was appropriate for you, but so did your caregivers. Even within the culture that you live in, your family had a set of beliefs of what was okay and what was not okay. Is it all right to swear at home? Yes or no? Is it all right to have a glass of wine with your dinner? Yes or no? Is it okay to get a C in your grades instead of an A? Yes or no? So your parents or caregivers taught you what was appropriate in your home. Over time, with culture, with your family, with the media, with your friendship groups, you started to develop an impression of what was appropriate and what wasn't appropriate. And every single time you try and change your life or do a difficult thing or grow your business or get a hard result, you're not just competing with the effort that it takes, you are competing with an image of yourself that you have. And bottom line is, in order for you to get a result that you've been striving for years and years and years and years, if it isn't happening, there must be something in your subconscious programming that is saying it's not appropriate for you to have that result, or it's not appropriate for you to do what it takes to get that result. So ask yourself, what is the goal? What am I trying to get to? And what does my family think of that? How does it fit with my culture? How does it look compared to what the people around me have and are doing? So for example, I don't eat sugar and I get up at 5 a.m. Let me be clear, I was not raised not to eat sugar. I was raised to have tea and then we have a dessert. Or, hey, it's movie night, I got all these snacks. I was also not raised to get up at 5 a.m. I was raised to get up at 7, half 7? I don't know. 5 a.m., according to my mum, who I love dearly, is the middle of the night. Of course it is. What mum, who's a normal, loving, caring mum, wants to hear that their daughter is getting up at 5 a.m. to work on their business or work on their goals? She wants me to eat my tea, have a lovely snack with the movie, because that's what people do, that's totally normal, and then get up at 7 and just have an easier life. That's what she wants. The thing is, that's a shame for my mum, is that for whatever reason I was given goals and I've set goals that are way beyond what is normal and what other people around me might be striving for. If that's the case, doesn't it follow that I have to do behaviors and disciplines and priorities that are just not appropriate to the people around me? So that makes it very difficult. If I go to get up at 5, it matters what the people say around me. If we're out for dinner and everyone's ordering dessert, that creates a tension moment where I'm going to behave differently from the people around me. So I'm not going to go into this in too much detail. I've actually made videos all about this. One is how to spot that subconscious belief, and the other video is how to change that subconscious belief and basically change who you are to get a different result. I'm going to link them below. All I want to say now is, watch out when other people tell you not to do it, it can't be done, or you're getting judged. What I want you to do is really think about the behaviors, the thought processes, the activities of the people who make it, and ask yourself, what is it going to take for you to do more of those behaviors and less of the behaviors that will keep you locked in a place you don't want to be? Okay? I hope you found that useful. Check the show notes, loads of videos and resources there. And if you're interested, I run a monthly membership diving deep into these topics of how you hit your goals, how you change your behaviors, and how you change your programming to make it easier to do what it's really going to take for you to succeed. All right? Over and out.